The Oculus Quest 2 has hit the virtual reality market by storm. It has outsold all other Oculus headsets, but is it right for you? Today we're going to look at 5 things you really need to know before you go and buy yourself the Oculus Quest 2. Now, if you're new to the channel, my name is Emma. Be sure to give us a like and subscribe if you find this video helpful. First thing we are going to look at today that most of you will probably already know is that Oculus is owned by Facebook. So to use your Oculus Quest 2, you're going to need a Facebook account. For most people, this won't be an issue. A lot of people already have a Facebook account, so that is totally fine. But there's a few other things you need to be aware of. If you don't already have a Facebook account to log into your Oculus, you're going to have to make a new one. However, there has been some issues with this. Reports that new Facebook accounts that have been made just specifically for Oculus have been closed down. And if your Facebook account gets closed down, this becomes a very expensive paperweight. You can't do anything with it. You can't play any of the games you've purchased. Good luck, good game, it's all over for you. That's something you need to be aware of. If you're making up a new Facebook account, you need to make sure you get it linked with either your driver license or your passport to tell Facebook, I am a real person, please do not block me, I want to play games on my Quest. You also have to make sure that the date of birth on your Facebook account is correct. You can get your account bricked if you do not have the correct date of birth. And also make sure you're not under 13. Sorry for kids, but you're not allowed a Facebook account if you're under 13, which means you're technically not allowed on Oculus either. Second thing to be aware of is what size of Oculus Quest should you be looking at? It comes in two different sizes. There is the 64GB and the 256. And I know what you must be thinking, you'll be like, 64GB is nothing. I'm going to have to spend the extra £100 or extra $100 to get myself the 256GB version. Honestly, for most users, I'd recommend the 64GB version. There's various reasons as to why I would say to get the 64GB version. Virtual reality games at the moment are tiny, frankly. They're really small. The only ones that have got any size of them are Half-Life Alyx, which you can't get natively on the Quest anyway, and maybe Walking Dead Saints and Sinners. Population 1, for example, when the game came out on my Quest it was under a gigabyte. There's been various updates since then and now it is just under 5GB. I've got maybe like 20 games on my Quest and I had a bunch of videos recorded as well, and it only just got to the 64GB. For a lot of virtual reality games, they're a once playthrough gig. You play it, you're probably not going to play it again. A lot of the games are really short, unless you're planning on recording absolutely every session inside the Quest. I wouldn't recommend spending that extra money on it. Another thing to note is, if you have a computer and you're going to be playing PCVR games, buy the big games on PC so then it doesn't take up the room on your Quest and you're not going to need the big version then, are you? Now that I've mentioned you should probably get the 64GB version instead of the 256GB, you can put that money to good use. If you buy yourself an Oculus Quest 2, you're gonna need to buy accessories. Unfortunately, as you can see on my Quest here, I am using the Elite strap with battery pack. This doubles the battery life and gives you an infinitely better strap than the bog standard fabric. And I've also got a nice blue silicone cover here. The reason for this, I'll take off my silicone cover for you. This here is the bog standard faceplate that you get with the Oculus. It is thin foam, which sucks up sweat. It is itchy, it is horrible. Oculus themselves have come out and said that, you know, sorry, we're not great, this can cause skin irritation, so we're offering everyone a free VR cover. So that is something to be aware of. You're going to have to upgrade the accessories. The Oculus Quest is great coming at £300 or $300, but to do that there is a bunch of areas that can be improved. First thing you are going to want to get yourself is either the free VR cover from Facebook or silicone cover. We do recommend the ones from VR cover. I'll probably stick a link for this in the description below if you're wanting a nice silicone cover. This just gives you an extra bit of padding, a little bit of extra cushion, and you're not getting sweat into your insert. Like, it could get ruined so quickly. Like, it's so thin at the nose as well. It's so thin, there's like nothing there. I would say to go for the free VR cover, but I applied for mine on the 17th of February, so it's almost been 2 months. And I've got nothing, nilch nada. Facebook said, yeah, we'll contact you in 3 days. and then we'll tell you how we're going to ship out this replacement for you, and I got nothing back. I've emailed them like 3 times since then, and nothing. So you might have to spend like $12, $15 pound on a cover like this. And as I said, if you're playing VR for maybe like 10-15 minute periods at a time, you'll probably be fine with the fabric. But if you're planning on playing it for any period of time, honestly, the fabric is extremely uncomfortable. It is not a good fit. It's very front heavy. There's no balance to it whatsoever. All the weight's obviously at the front. The headset is here, so you're going to need something like the Elite Strap battery pack to kind of balance it on your head. Comfort is very important when it comes to virtual reality, so the standard fabric just doesn't cut it. The hardware that you get for the $300 is incredible, it's amazing, but obviously they had to cut corners somewhere to do it, and the strap is where. It makes sense. A lot of people will probably pick up this headset, play it now and then, and not be too fussed by it, so they figured most users might not need an upgrade, but for those who are planning on playing it for long periods of time, you're going to need to spend some money on accessories to get this upgraded to the standard that you want. If you have a gaming computer, which I'll assume most of you do have, then you do have the option with the Oculus Quest to play PCVR games, which is amazing. You can play Half-Life Alyx and you can even play it wirelessly, but there's a few things you need to note with this. So there's 2 options for you to play PCVR, that is through the Oculus Link cable or through Virtual Desktop. There's technically more than that, but we're going to cover the 2 main ones today. The Oculus Link cable is good, it does retail at $89, however you do not need to get the branded Oculus cable. Link to a video above and down below where we've covered just a cheap cable that came in at £19 and compared it to the £89 cable, and honestly they both did the exact same job, had the exact same speeds, and yeah, you don't need to buy the really expensive cable. So that's something to keep in mind if the price of that is putting you off. Something to note though is you're gonna have to have a good computer for this. If you just have an entry-level computer that's only just VR ready, you might not have that great an experience. It could be a little bit choppy for you depending on the game if your computer can handle it. So don't expect to just jump in and have your PC VR games working perfectly, because they probably won't. I'd like to recommend the Oculus Link. It is good, however there is a number of issues for it. It doesn't get recognised all the time by the computer. Like I said, the quality can be hit or miss depending on your computer. And also there's issues with the microphone. I have found a fix for that, but as standard, for some reason it doesn't like to pick up the microphone. So if you want to talk to your friends, it's a bit annoying. So you would think the solution to this is Virtual Desktop. Now, Virtual Desktop is amazing. It's a piece of software you can get, you can connect to your computer, and then you can play wirelessly. You can play Half-Life Alyx wirelessly, which in itself is insane. It's amazing. But you're going to need to have a lot of features for this. You're going to have a good Wi-Fi router with a dual band, so a 2.4 and a 5 GHz band. 5 GHz just for your Quest. I thought, that's cool. I've got a router with 5 GHz, and honestly, it ran like ass. It was terrible. Just because you've got a router that's got 5 GHz doesn't mean it's going to be good enough. So I upgraded my router to the Asus RX something. I'll put it down here what router I upgraded to. So that was like a £150 router to get this to work properly. And unfortunately, my trusty computer here is not in the same room as my Ethernet. I've only got one slot to have my router in, which is at the other side of my house, and the latency is not great. It kept dropping out, so it was choppy, it was unplayable. And if you don't have VR yet, if your frames drop, you're going to feel sick and it is going to be horrible. So what I've had to do is I've had to run an Ethernet cable all the way through my house to the router in the living room to play wirelessly. So yeah, and to be honest, now I've done that, it does work perfect. But be aware that you may need to spend money to get Virtual Desktop to work properly. And if you're not in the same room as your router, you might have to do an Ethernet cable around your house. Our next part is IPD, interpupillary distance. Now this in layman's terms, is the distance between your eyes. This is very important when it comes to virtual reality. So you're going to have to measure your eyes. Well, you might not have to. You might be able to adjust it on your own and just guess, but it'd be a good idea to measure between your eyes. You can do this if you've got a friend, got family that you live with. They can literally just get a ruler and put it between your eyes. That's what the opticians do. They've got a special little ruler that'll go between your pupils. There is also an app available for the newest iPhones that will measure it for you, but you could take an estimated guess. So why am I bringing up IPD? The reason for this is the Quest 2 only has 3 IPD settings. It has 58mm, 63mm and 68mm. So if your eye distance happens to be not in one of those ranges, if your eyes are really narrow or really wide, you might struggle to get a good clear image on the Quest 2. That is one of the limiting factors of it. I have slightly wonky eyes. It does work fine for me, surprisingly, but not having a fully adjustable eye line sight can be an issue for a lot of users, and they just can't quite get it set up right. Now, I have found if you're very gentle with the settings, you can get it to sit just in between. So say if you're in between settings 1 and 2, if you're delicate with it, you can get it to sit there to maybe get the image right for yourself. But that is not ideal. It's one of the only big drawbacks, I would say, of the Quest 2 is its limited choices here. And now that we're talking about eyes, if you wear glasses, you will need them in VR. I know some people have said you don't, and you might think, I'm not going to need them in VR, but for 90% of you who wear glasses, you're going to need them in VR. And if you're wearing glasses with your VR headset, don't forget this. It's your glasses spacer. It comes with the headset. Hey, kitty. If you put your glasses on without this, you could scratch your lenses, either your glasses lenses or your Oculus lenses, and that is them both done and you're going to have to replace them. So make sure you put this in. Even for users who don't wear glasses, I put this in anyway. It just gives you a little bit extra space and can be better. Honestly, if you wear glasses and you get into this, I wouldn't recommend wearing glasses. As I said, you can damage your lens and just when you get scratching it, well, that's you, good luck, good game. So you can get prescription lenses made for Oculus. I would recommend VR opticians. I'm going to be doing a review on these later. So I've actually got them for my Quest 2 and for my Valve Index. They just pop in. You can just pull them back out again if you want to give your Quest to someone else to use. So that's more money on accessories you're going to have to spend. One of the main downsides of this is money you're going to spend on accessories. So that was technically 6 things that you need to know about your Quest. You got a nice little added bonus there, but 5 just sounds a lot better for the title and stuff, doesn't it? All in all, by far the Quest 2 I'd say is the best way to get into virtual reality. It's the best entry level headset. It's wireless. It's like $300 for what it does is insane. Like, it's amazing, honestly. But it is not for everyone, and if you get it and you find it is blurry because of your eye distance, if it doesn't work with your glasses, it doesn't work with your computer, most countries have got a refund policy and you can, well, just send it back if VR isn't for you. And one extra thing to be aware of that you're not going to until you really try is motion sickness. Kind of a big one. It's taken me a year to get over it, and in reality I'm not over it. It's been more than a year. It's been a year and a half. But we will touch on motion sickness in another video. That's a whole other kettle of fish, and it's something that just needs to be worked on in virtual reality. If you want to know more, please check out our channel. There is other virtual reality goodness. I am streaming on Twitch now on Wednesday nights. Sorry guys, I'm kind of down to one night a week because I want to make more videos just on Wednesdays, and we have a Discord community where we've got other VR people, and I'm hopefully going to be starting up some VR game nights, get us all together and get some friends in virtual reality. So again, thank you for watching, hope you found this helpful. If you want to know anything else about the Quest 2, let me know in the comments below. Our next point is IPD, and god, I'm going to mess this up. Interpupillary IPD. Interpupillary silicone cover, go! Put that on upside down.